saben que salió la cinemática, ¿no? La inicio de temporada en LOLcito, ¿no? Y bueno, el drama que se montó sobre eso. Y bueno, no solo el drama, la especulación, ¿no? ¿Qué onda con LOLcito? La inversión, ¿no? Yo he escuchado cositas allí internamente sobre cuál es el foco de este año para Riot. Y Valorant cada vez está cogiendo más fuerza, por ejemplo, ¿no? Y todo ese rollo. Entonces, no sé si es que LOLcito no está en sus mejores años o qué carajo. Pero NECRIT justo ayer subió un video hablando sobre eso. Y de paso, por ahí comentó en Twitter que quiere subir otro al respecto. O sea que se vienen unos días de buen chisme, ¿no? De chisme parejo. Y a mí me encanta, me fascina el chisme. Yo vivo por el chisme. Así que vamos a ver primero el video de NECRIT, cortito, son 20 minuticos. Y luego jugamos rankedcitas para perder mi 100 de LP. Yo pongo subtítulos, bueno, para el que, qué sé yo. Igual la mitad de ustedes no sabe inglés, por lo que siempre me dicen, pero no hay de otro. Me intriga qué opina NECRIT.
Oh no. I woke up at 9 a.m. to watch the cinematic. After which
Porque esa fue otra cosa. Los hijos de putas publicaron la cinemática. Yo me di cuenta, pero dije, bueno, no sé si fue por el cambio horario, qué coño de la madre, ¿sabes? Porque yo me levanté. O sea, estas fechas son candelas, porque esta fecha sabía que hay cinemática de LOL, ahí el roadmap está por caer, en teoría viene un snapshot para lore en el transcurso de la semana. La semana que viene comienzan las revelaciones de cartas dentro del lorcito, entonces esta semana yo sabía que iba a estar movida por temas de filtración y todo el rollo. Entonces yo, coño, me estoy intentando levantar un poquito más temprano, por si algo se filtra o lo que sea, tengo que hacer el video al momento, ¿no? Entonces, coño, me levanto y abro Twitter y digo, verga, la cinemática de LOL ya la publicaron. Tan temprano, huevón, no puede ser. Y nada, pues básicamente también fue por eso, ¿no? La publicaron que madrugada en horario americano para que no tuviese el mismo impacto para que no tuviese tanto impacto, básicamente. ¿Cómo estás, Rakushan? Virus. Audio. ¿Viste la cinemática de Will Rift? Es de skin, pero le parte el culo a la season. Sí, totalmente. Es que la de la season ni siquiera, bueno, hermano, eso no es ni cinemática. Eso agarraron el asset que tenían de la grieta, que ya lo habrán tenido precargado para otra cinemática o qué sé yo. Y nada, pues lo que hicieron fue mandar ahí ¿sabes? La camarita que hizo una vuelta y ya, eso fue todo. Eso no, una cinemática como tal.
Llamas. Well,
Además, esto parece, ¿saben qué parece tal cual? Una demo de un motor gráfico. Exactamente parece eso. Y un motor gráfico de hace 10 años.
I don't know what's happening at Riot anymore. Every year we got a big new cinematic.
Ah, bueno, y aparecieron rioters comentando. Disculpen que hable, pero para eso es esto. Leí varios tweets de rioters, coño, pidiendo como disculpas, ¿no? Entre comillas, diciendo, chicos, entiendan de que por parte de los rioters, esto siempre priorizamos a los jugadores y poquito más. Porque mucha gente que les cae a los rioters, que coño, ¿cómo pasó esto? ¿Cómo es posible? Y hay que entender que esto es un rollo de los que están arriba, ¿no? El tema de toma de decisiones. Porque si no lograron hacer la cinemática a tiempo es porque hubo nula coordinación. Y eso no es culpa de los rioters, es culpa de la gente que pone el dinerito.
And yet here we are. With nothing. After a year where League got nothing. I really can't say people have a lot of trust in League.
Claro, porque el evento del año pasado, o sea, el evento de este año fue, el del 2022, fue Guardianas Estelares, que ni siquiera es un evento de lore. A ver, estuvo bueno y aumentó el lore de las guardianas, pero desde las guardianas, ¿sabes? Hay mucha gente que, como a mí, aunque me gustó, a mí me sabe un poco a culo. Entiendo que a nivel de lore este año fue crítico para LOLcito en general, crítico. Si no es por lorcito, casi que no hay nada. A ver. Los loremasters de Rito ruegan para que les dejen incluir lore challenge, sí. Después de Warrior, Awakening y de Cal, esta cinemática no tiene sentido. Además, después de decir que gastarían más dinero en League of Legends por el año pasado, sí, también es cierto.
Pero I had to get a screenshot the moment the cinematic came out. Because there, they called it cinematic. But it seems like on social media, they know what's actually happening, so there they call it an anthem. So I wanna see if later they decide to swap the title. But the anthem isn't even new. It is reusing themes from the Climb cinematic. So what is going on? We wanted another cinematic where we get to see our favorite champions in action, and instead we got Unreal Engine tech demo. Riot,
Lo que les dije, una demo de un Real Engine, tal cual, lo que les dije.
save more money, feel free to use my animations for your future cinematics. I really wanted to have some
Qué verga tan
copium.
horrible.
I wanted to say that there is no big cinematic because they are gonna tie it into the big summer event. But my supplies of copium were consumed during the last summer event, where we also got nothing. Normally I would say there is most likely a reason why we didn't get a cinematic. Maybe Riot is working on something else, but I don't believe that anymore. So yeah, in case you missed it, Riot dropped 4 videos where they prepared us for the exciting future of 2023 in League of Legends.
Bueno, y el video el del LOL Please, antes de la cinemática, sacan un videito hablando sobre un resumen muy, entre comillas, un teaser, ¿no? De lo que vendría a ser LOL para el 2023. Y yo lo vi y también me pareció un poco mierda, la verdad. O sea, a nivel de contenido fue bastante escaso.
Now, even though I wanted to swap
Bueno, y tanto fue así que dijeron que en los próximos días, o sea, en estos próximos días, iban a empezar a revelar más cositas como para calmar a la gente, ¿no? Porque, coño, es que después de esto, si uno se asusta.
Variety Gaming, I said that I will still cover League of Legends. So, covering all of these news is kinda part of the deal. But I also said that in 2023, I will make my videos...
La de Nocturne con Raíz es 1000 veces más épica.
So, I'm here to introduce the Hypometer. Instead of covering the news as Raj delivered it to us, I'll let the Hypometer sort things out according to how hype they are. We will start with the news nobody cares about and will move all the way up. So are you ready? Because we're about to start filling the bar up. That's not right. Is it because there was no cinematic? What's going on? Oh no.
Maldito NECRIT.
So, for the majority of all the videos,
Ahí está el
Ryan
video.
just repeated what we already know. So, among the news nobody cares about, we have Hextech Drake and all the jungle plants, new ping system, jungle pets, rune recommender, ARAM changes, Xbox Game Pass with loot for League. Yeah, we literally learned about all of these about 3 months ago.
Sí, ya todo se
None of
sabía.
these are
Todo.
new, and what's worse, none of these change the game. This is all aesthetics and quality of life, which doesn't make the game better. So,
Todo se sabía.
let's bump things up. Okay, that's good enough. We then got an entire video about player behavior. To be fair, they did talk about some interesting things if you are into data and statistics. They talked about how it's difficult to detect if someone is intentionally feeding, because the game is only collecting numbers. How can the numbers tell what are your intentions? But besides that, once again, they just said what we already know about. If you behave well, you will get a skin for being a good boy. And then they mentioned that they want to make the game less toxic. Some people know my stance on this, but in case you don't, just fucking ban people. It is your game. You are the one who's dictating how people
Banelos a
behave
todos.
in your game. If someone is being an asshole, get them out of here. It doesn't matter that in 99% of their games they are fine, but in that one game they make everyone's lives miserable. If they do it once, 7-day ban. If they do it twice, a month-long ban. The third time, get them out. You can't make the excuse that most of the time people are fine. The point is, you allow them to be toxic. Just take the Final Fantasy approach. I have never played Final Fantasy XIV, but I know what Square Enix are doing. If there is a player who is disrupting the game for other players, they're gone. And what's the counter-argument? Oh, I want to have the right to be an asshole on the internet. Really?
Qué locura, no tiene nada que ver con esto, pero ¿hasta qué punto es culpa de Riot? Bueno, claro que tiene culpa, pero ¿hasta qué punto es culpa de Riot tan buena que su juego sea de los más tóxicos, tenga de las comunidades más tóxicas en la historia de los juegos? O sea, de los juegos más preciosos que hay a nivel de lore, jugablemente divino, pero hermano, la comunidad de LoL es para matarte, para matarte, para matarte. Yo estoy seguro que alguien se habrá suicidado en su vida pensando, me cago en LOL. Estoy seguro, segurísimo.
Just slam your door on your way out. Don't whine about your game being toxic when you're not doing anything. Alright, let's get things more excited. Good, good. We then got the state of the game video, where they talked about positioning agency, which I can tell you right now, nobody cares about. It's basically a designer's problem, which the player will never ever think about. And they also talked about how they made mythic and tank
Sí, la verdad que todo
items.
fue bastante
That's
mierda.
literally it. That's the news for 2023.
Todo fue
So,
bastante
let's
mierda.
bump it up again. And this is where we got a video talking about mid-scope updates. For the first 6 minutes, they explained what mid-scope updates are. That's in a 7-minute long video.
Ustedes no lo ven, pero aquí hay una barra, ¿ok?
Is that their goal
Aquí hay
for
una barra a la derecha
2023 is to give us a new
que está cargando
mid-scope update every
a medida que el hype
month.
aumenta.
There is something really horrible hiding behind this. You see, this is most likely why we are not getting VGUs anymore. The reason why Riot is not reworking old champions is because those reworks cost them money. They need to make models, they need to make animations, they need to make new kits.
Ah, el rework es un campeón nuevo.
Update
Tal cual.
only gives the champions new abilities. And even in that video, they said that mid-scope updates are as effective as VGUs. That's why they wanna do a new mid-scope update every 2 months. What they don't tell you about is that that's the reason why old champions are not gonna get big updates. It's because it costs them money and they need to save money because who know why the fuck? Are they cutting costs again? Whatever, let's move on. As expected, we then got news about the Skarner VGU, which they first teased a year ago. The update is, they started exploring how to enhance his fantasy. Can anyone tell me what they are doing? They even presented us with some of the art we got last year. Well, let's bump it up again.
Sí, yo también me di cuenta de eso. Usaron el arte que usaron el año pasado. Ni siquiera fue que mostraron algo nuevo de Skarner. Es la misma mierda.
We then got news about Ari's ASU, which is something we got to see last month. Again, it's nothing new. And then we got teasers for new skins. Of course, everyone knows that Riot is cutting costs everywhere. 2022 had no new lore and no new gameplay, but you know what we got? A lot of skins.
The skins.
So of course, in this update, they only showed 4 skins? I mean, they said that Aurelian, Ivern, Kled, and Kalista are gonna get skins. From these, Kalista is gonna be a fairy, Karma is gonna be a fairy, and then there is Cats and Dogs, Kled, and Kindred.
No me gustó ninguno.
Yeah, sure, nice skins.
A mí.
But is that it? No voting on new skins?
Exacto.
No teasing on
Antes hacían
more than
votaciones de
just one new
skins,
skin line?
te mostraban un
What's
conjunto
amazing
completo de
is that
skins, ahora solo
after
mostraron
they
4 y ya.
teased these 4 skins, they said, and I quote, "These are just a few of the new things we plan for season 2023. Yeah, they are planning skins and it's only 4 of them. So let's bump it up again. So it was revealed that we are getting new voiceovers for Nidalee and Varus. But you know why we are getting them? It's a promotion for the new champions, so that the new champions sell better. Because it was confirmed that both of these new voiceovers will interact with the new champions. This means that Nidalee will talk to the Ishtali champion, and Varus is gonna talk to the new Darkin champion. There is something really bad happening with these voiceovers, but more on that in just a moment. On a similar level of excitement, there is the Aurelian CGU. To be fair, he got really amazing abilities. But again, we learned about these 14 days ago. This is nothing new yet again. And then they started teasing new champions. Finally, something to talk about, even though, as many of you may know, new champions don't make League's gameplay any better. Whatever, the new Ishtali champion is gonna be Emilio. Apparently, it is a kid and it is an elemental mage. In his story, he's gonna be facing the Vidalian, which is the highest challenge to become an elemental master, and he's gonna be uncovering the darkest secrets of Yuntal. Based on the lore, I assume that the darkest secrets are that the entire Ishtal believes that the entire world was consumed by the void, but Yuntal knows that the entire time the world is fine. That's probably what will be explored. It is also gonna be an enchanter, which is gonna be healing by using fire. There are also some references to bouncing, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bouncing fire, kinda like what Nami does. If you ask me, what I want from this champion is for him to explain Kiana. 2 years ago, there was a massive event that was dooming the entire world, and the most powerful element...
Vea que la ruina es hace 2 años, Samuel. Yo pienso que... Taneki fue el año pasado con los guardianes, que se me olvida que fue un evento, entre comillas. 2 años ya de la ruina. Y tampoco que terminó muy bien, pero...
Didn't help anyone. Riot told us that's because there is a lore reason Kiana was doing something in the background. 2 years later, they still never explained it. If this champion doesn't give it a reason, I lost faith. Then we also got new teasers for the Darkin dog.
Naafiri.
It was said that this champion will have
Si tiene
special
doble A,
abilities.
es Darkin.
There are references to pouncing and animals. That's because it is most likely gonna be a corrupted dog. It is focusing on hunting in a pack. It is a mid lane assassin. And she is called Naafiri. It's strange to see that they didn't use any of the existing Darkin, especially after introducing so many of them. I was really hoping the new champion would be Varus' sister. But nope, it's a brand new character. The story is they woke up from slumber and they started seeking their brethren, which is exactly the story of Varus. I mean, the two are gonna meet, so who knows what's gonna happen. But then they mentioned that the champion is gonna have multiple bodies, which they are using to seek the other Darkin. Now, because they said that this champion will have a simple kit, I don't believe we are talking about a champion that's gonna be controlling multiple units at once. Instead, I believe it's gonna be something like Kalista. You leave behind a ghost that's gonna patrol an area while you control the main champion. They also called that champion a twist of fates. So maybe when Naafiri was an ascended, she was a lynx or she was a cat. And then her Darkin weapon was picked up by a dog, and that's the twist. But there is something. In order for a Darkin to have multiple bodies, the weapon would have to be picked up by something that split. Otherwise, there wouldn't be multiple dogs corrupted. It would be only one corrupted dog. So since there are multiple corrupted dogs, a new theory broke out. What if the Darkin weapon was picked up by a pregnant dog? It's not my theory, I didn't make it up, but hey,
Perro embarazado.
but that's that. So, let's move on. We then got 2 more teasers for 2 more champions, which once again don't make the gameplay of League of Legends any better. First, there
Coño, van a hacer un Drácula. LOL. Un Morbius.
is a hangry jungler, which is a word that I had to look up. Apparently, they are gonna be angry. It is obvious that they are gonna be Noxian because the border is based on Noxian script, and the architecture is entirely Noxian. Fun fact, sometimes those side towers were used for pooping so that you can poop down and the poop doesn't stick to the castle. Anyway, the architecture looks very much like it belongs to Vladimir. Now, it can't be Mora, which is the artist who painted Vladimir's painting. It is a really cool side character, but it is an artist, so it can't be the new champion because you'll see what's coming next. It can, however, be Sin, the headmistress. This is another side character who is feeding Vladimir orphans in exchange for Vladimir's blood, because Sin is heavily addicted to Vladimir's blood. So if there is a character that we already know about that would work for this, it's Sin. Now, the other new champion is an artistic mid laner. A few years ago, Riot was fiddling with the idea of an mage, a mage that would have abilities where you paint runes with your cursor. That would be cool, maybe something like that is happening.
No?
And yeah, they are gonna be Ionian because that is the Noxian script, referencing the Noxian invasion. And that's it, we get nothing else about them. On a similar level of excitement, we can also talk about the fact that you can finally choose your language in the client. You don't have to reinstall anything anymore, and you can choose when you want to listen to Tariq's Japanese moaning at any time. So now, let's bump it up again. We then anytime. So now, let's bump it up again. We then got a few words from the Game Loop team, which I'll be honest, I didn't even know League had this team. And there they talked about ranked. For the first time in these news, this might be when things are actually changing. You see, now there will be a mid-year rank reset. Instead of just being one rank throughout the entire year, Riot is splitting the entire year into 2 halves. This is really good. League was one of the only games still in existence that did this. Most other games have 2 or 3 seasons per year. And there is a reason for that. People usually get to their rank and then they stop playing. If the rank lasts the entire year...
Aunque yo siempre he sido fan de cómo el Riot divide las temporadas anual. Primero porque para mí es más fácil ubicarlas. Tipo, bueno, la temporada 2023. Y te ubicas de manera más rápida de qué coño pasó en esa temporada. Y segundo, entiendo cuál es el punto, lo que acaba de mencionar él, y lo dijeron en el video, de que por ejemplo, si tú eres un oro, tú llegas a oro y ya, y dejas de jugar. Pero yo siento que esa tampoco es la idea del juego, ¿no? La idea es de que si llegas a oro, tu próximo paso sea platino y después diamante. Y siento yo que un año te da el chance suficiente como para realmente escalar, ¿no? Pero bueno, está bien.
People are gonna stop playing. There will also be new rewards. There will now be a ranked battle pass. It's free, but the rewards are gonna be icons and borders. Thankfully, this also means that there will be 2 victorious skins per year. And now, let's finally get something exciting! When talking about the mid-scope updates, they revealed the changes to Nico, with the change really being just one ability, but that one ability is amazing. Nico
Rotísima.
can now turn into anything, be it a minion, a tower, or
Rotísima.
a jungle monster. Nico is now gonna be playing prop hunt in League of Legends. She's gonna be scarier than Fiddlesticks. To be honest, this sounds like the most fun ability in the entire game. I don't even care if the ability is overpowered, I'm just happy people can have fun in this game. And then finally we reach what might be the only real change to the game. Even though it doesn't even change the gameplay. Anyone can now get victorious skins, which is an amazing change. In the past, every season you could get a victorious skin by hitting gold. And if you climbed further above gold, you got different color variations. Since the average player is about silver 3, gold was slightly...
Oye, pero no es por nada, pero... Yo escucho esto y me molesta un poco, porque es que coño. O sea, yo puedo entender que, vale, hay gente que no llega a oro, pero papi, oro es como lo más, oro es la base de este juego. O sea que no llegas a oro, dedícate a jugar si no puedes llegar a oro, a buena oro. O sea, yo entiendo que el promedio está en plata, siempre está en plata. La mayor base de jugadores está en plata. Pero es eso, ¿sabes? Es el jugador más casual, pero el más casual de los casuales. No llegas a oro y ¿qué estás haciendo con tu vida en LOL? O sea, ¿qué haces con tu vida? ¿Qué juegas tú? ¿A trolear? ¿Cómo tú no has llegado a oro, coño, tu madre? Bueno, con una mano jugando mal y flameando. Si llega a oro, ¿cómo no vas a llegar a oro? Es el colmo que pasó en skin en base a victorias. No me jodas.
above average. So you essentially
Me parece exagerado, pues. Me parece muy exagerado.
above average. What
Es como de paso suponer que todos los jugadores son unos mancos, que sí lo son, pero coño, póngale un poco de cariño también, no me jodas.
people may not realize is that this threshold was artificial. Riot just made it up. There was no real reason to decide who gets a skin and who doesn't. So now, by playing ranked, everyone can get a victorious skin. It's just if you are below gold, you earn it slower than if you are above gold. Which means that we probably fill up a bar, and when you fill it up, you get the skin. This system is so much better, because if you were below gold, you had no real reason to grind ranked
mejor,
unless
pero-
you are confident you can get to gold.
Okay.
Now it encourages everyone to play ranked, which is a curse I wouldn't want to afflict on anyone. But getting a skin for participating in ranked feels way better than being like, that guy gets a skin, I guess, sure. Now, before we ramp up the meter all the way up, we need to go all the way down. Because there is more stuff happening in the background than what people know about. First of all, on Reddit it was confirmed that the game modes team
Lo leí yo.
dissolved. Essentially, throughout the year, the entire leadership of the game modes team just disappeared. Either they were moved onto other teams or they just got out of Riot. What we are probably supposed to be like is like, oh, it's a shame that we are not getting a game modes team, even though game modes is literally the only thing that people really want in this game. What I see behind this is that Riot didn't see it as important enough to keep the game modes team running. We all know that game modes are something that the
Por cosas como estas, es que yo entiendo que yo estoy muy desconectado ya con LOL. O sea, yo sé que ya yo no soy ni de cerca el público, el público objetivo de primordial de LOL. O sea, entiendo que mucha gente, muchísima gente les encanta los modos de juegos de LOL, los 20.000 que tiene. Pasa que bueno, no han hecho nuevos y toda la paja, que de ahí viene la crítica. Entiendo que a la gente le gusta y toda la paja, pero no es ni de cerca ¿sabes? Donde más tiempo yo invierto, ni el modo que más me atrae. Ranked, y no quiero más nada. Ranked, igual con lore. Ranked, elimina todo el resto si tú quieres. Déjame en la Ranked y ponlas, pero bien bonitas. Pero aquí cuando veo es que ya el juego se ha transformado en otra cosa a la que yo jugué en su momento, ¿no? O sea, digo en su momento porque yo juego LoL en la Season 2. Y en la Season 2 yo solo jugaba eso, ¿no? Sacaban que sacaban URF y de repente jugaba URF 3 partidas porque mis amigos querían, pero yo después volvía al arranque. Y hoy en día casi que todo el mundo te está pidiendo, papá, sácame otro modo de juego, otro modo de juego. Yo ya ni sé cuáles hay. Nexo en la mierda, había Rey Poro, el de las guardianas estuvo muy bueno. Ese sí debo decir que estuvo muy bueno porque lo jugué. Pero ya aquí estoy súper desconectado ya con el juego. O sea, o sea, que la gente llore por un modo de juego, yo no lo comparto. Lo entiendo, pero no lo comparto. Yo, pa.
Players really want. But we all know that game modes are not really that successful. They don't make you a lot of money back. So once again, this is most likely going down to the leadership being out of touch. Because their job was to make sure that team doesn't break in the first place. When an important person wants to leave and they are working on a really important product, perhaps you might want to try to keep them in the team to finish the product first. What I got from this is that Riot didn't care, and when the team wanted to dissolve, they were like, yep, whatever. So yeah, that's why last year we got nothing, and I assume this year we will get nothing, because getting such a team to ramp up takes time. There is also the news that League of Legends will give $1 for every 100 missions complete to charity. Which essentially means League of Legends will give 1 million to charity. Don't sweat it, don't grind the missions if you don't wanna. If Riot wanted to give more to charity, there wouldn't be a cap. And lastly, a tweet that was really subtle is that apparently the narrative team had to push hard to get new voice lines for those old champions. Yes, we don't get stories, we don't get game modes, and when it
Puro
comes
drama,
to new
puro
voice
chisme.
lines, which is the bare minimum you can do, the narrative team had to push hard for it? Is the leadership that out of touch? This is really getting to a ridiculous point. Like, how is any of this possible? We got a confirmation that 2023 has the biggest budget yet. And when we get new voice lines, we learn that they really had to fight for them. But you know what? Enough of depression. Let's go all the way to the top. You know what was the best moment I had while watching all of these videos? It's this moment when I hit my wrist and it was really funny.
The flame of his dragon.
We saw these, so I can snooze
we
now.
didn't go too deep into the parts of his kit that strengthen his star forging theme. Not only can Aurelian Soul
We saw
forge
these.
stars like a nebula in deep space,
It's cool.
but he
I'll
can
admit,
now
pretty
drop
cool.
them from the sky onto
I
his
hit my
foes and
hand
summoners.
really badly. Ouch.
Ooh, ouch. As we mentioned before in the last video,
And there you have it! So, what did we learn? We know Riot is working on some new champions, which are proven again and again not to improve the state which League of Legends is in. After all, a new champion does jack all to a repetitive game, and that's it. There is literally nothing happening in League of Legends right now. And I don't understand what's happening. You know what's the funniest thing? Apparently, the cinematic had writers. There are people writing something.
Yo también vi eso. Cuando vi la cinemática, abrí la descripción, ¿no? A ver si mostraban qué coño de la madre estaba pasando, qué sé yo. O si yo me había equivocado de video. Y cuando... No, lo abrí porque quería ver quién estaba haciendo la voz. Esa es la verdad. Quería ver si abajo salía. Y decía que sí, escrito por... Y yo, ¿quién coño escribe esto, hermano? ¿Aquí qué escribes acá? A ver, también literalmente tienes que escribir tipo que la cámara va pasando por la grieta del invocador. Pero aún así, no me jodas. Sí, hicieron falta 3 huevones para escribir esto. No seas mierda.
For the cinematic, but people found out that the poem in the cinematic are just voice lines from champions. I am so happy.
Yo no me había dado cuenta hasta que uno de ustedes me dijo de que no es todas las frases son o sea, el poema que se escucha durante la cinemática son frases de campeón. Y yo, coño, es verdad. Por eso me da tanto cringe.
More than just League of Legends this year.
Coño. Estuvo potente. Estuvo bueno. NECRIT siempre hace buenos videos. Entonces, ¿qué aprendimos de esto? El 2023 pinta feo. A LOL. La verdad es que sí, pinta de ahí un temita allí de dirección que está como perdido, ¿no? No hay como que vainas caras por ningún lado. Pero bueno, ¿se da por el MMO? ¿El MMO le está robando gente? Sí. ¿La suficiente? No sabemos. No sabemos.